You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Okay. Cassidy Hutchinson, this lunatic, she's the nut job that said that on January 6th, President Trump demanded the Secret Service drive him to the Capitol building during the breach, jump from the back seat into the front, where the driver sits, and fought the Secret Service man for the steering wheel.
That was so ridiculous.
Even though Don Jr. immediately took to Twitter and said that there is a glass barrier that makes such a thing impossible. And President Trump even talked about this in some of his speeches.
So absurd. He
said, could you imagine that? Could you imagine? I mean, it's just so bizarre. But wanting to continue her 15 minutes, she is obviously auditioning for a spot on The View.
Or somewhere.
Yes.
Anybody, anywhere.
And she's come out and accused America's mayor, the war hero of the war on terror, America's hero of September 11th, Mayor Giuliani, was something. Listen to this. Cassidy Hutchinson, a former Trump aide, Beatrice Arnold here, has accused Rudy Giuliani of groping her on January 6th in a shocking new memoir. Now, I'll get to the details of this, but here's a girl who's 20-something years old. What the heck does she have to write about? So, she's so young and uninteresting and a compulsive liar. She has nothing to write about, so she has to make crap up. I mean, so she's got this fan fiction, this Never Trumper fan fiction memoir out. The 27-year-old, who was a star witness at the J6 committee hearings, alleges the 79-year-old Giuliani put his hand under my blazer, then under my skirt, and was like a wolf closing in on his prey. The former New York mayor fingered the fabric and said, "I'm loving this leather jacket on you," she claims in the explosive book. Hutchinson then describes feeling his frozen fingers trail up my thigh. Of course, this was all on January 6th.
Remember on Seinfeld, they had an episode where Jerry went and felt, a woman came up and felt his jacket, and he thought that was a great way to come on to somebody by feeling their material.
No, that's creepy.
I agree. I'm just saying that was in a Seinfeld episode. I think this is a girl who obviously is a pathological liar, and she's trying to get a job.
Yeah, she's a mental
trying
patient.
to get somebody on the left, but nobody's going to hire her because she's a lying tattletale. Nobody wants to work with somebody like that who's going to make up stories and go on the Daily Mail.
Mayor Giuliani has dismissed the accusation as a disgusting lie. Ted Goodman, a political advisor to Mayor Giuliani, says, it's fair to ask Cassidy Hutchinson why she is just now coming out with these allegations from 2.5 years ago as part of the marketing campaign for her upcoming book release. This is a disgusting lie against Mayor Giuliani, a man whose distinguished career in public service goes on and on and on. Hutchinson says the encounter occurred backstage in a tent, that tent that, the first family and everything were at on January 6th.
So much was happening that day. It's just incredible.
It was a busy tent. So this tent, I've seen some behind-the-scenes video and photographs from inside the tent because they were part of the January 6th. This was a very crowded tent, right? Kimberly Guilfoyle was back there with Don Jr., the first family, the president, Secret Service, TV crew. It was jam-packed. It goes on. She was a Trump supporter who worked for White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows at the time. But she turned and became a controversial witness for the J6 hearings, and it goes on and on. These people are so just sad. And, if she wasn't such a liar, if she just, was honest and didn't lie about these people, she's 27 years old. She'd probably be working for Charlie Kirk over at Turning Point USA. She'd have a career. She might be working over there at the Daily Wire or something. But instead, she took this route that she'll say whatever she thinks will get her press. And I'll tell you, not only do I believe this is all total BS, like everything else she said.
Yeah.
Okay. And what she did during the January 6 hearings, this was the Liz Cheney Kangaroo Committee hearings, what she did there was very, very cunning. Too cunning for this 27-year-old stupid girl, okay? She didn't she had several stories. The one about Trump trying to take control of the car from the Secret Service. One was about him throwing a plate of food on the wall in the dining room at the White House. She never witnessed these. She said someone had told her this.
Exactly.
So
it was ridiculous.
So the way she told the story,
the Secret Service said it never happened. That she was lying.
Well, here's the thing about this. What she did that was clever, because she was testifying under oath in a congressional hearing, and lying to Congress can send you to prison. She didn't. What she said wasn't true, but she said it secondhand. Somebody in private told me
she was coached.
Well, this is a way to lie under oath without being able to prove perjury. Well, she didn't say I saw this. She said someone told me this. It's like, hearsay.
Totally inadmissible in a normal court of law.
No, it wouldn't be admissible, but it also stops her from being charged with lying to Congress, because how can you prove that this private conversation, this person, you understand what I mean? She's too stupid to come up with such a ruse that would avoid criminal charges against her to lying to Congress. So some people on that committee coached her to lie. Now, far as this goes, here she's got this book coming out. She's got very little to share. Even though she worked for Mark Meadows, she was not inside the private meetings where real things were happening. She was like outside in the office. She's got a book? Yeah, she's got a book coming out. That's what this is.
God.
She's like, when there's serious stuff is going to happen, Mark Meadows says, okay, can you step outside? I got to talk to the president alone. So she really has nothing to say to put into a book. So she's got to make stuff up.
She's really a horrible person, because this is why women that really do get attacked.
Women should be believed, Kathy.
Women that really do get attacked and get groped or whatever, why people don't believe them. It's like the boy who cried wolf, because you have so many women saying that it happened when it didn't. It's obviously a lie, because she has a history of lying. This girl's just, like you said, she's got a book. She wants attention. And look, she got written about in the Daily Mail. It's on the front page.
And we're talking about it.
That's all you have to do is accuse somebody famous of something, and boom, then you're back in the news for a day or two. But it's ridiculous, and I don't think anybody would believe this.
Well, liberals, because they want to believe it. Now today,
they're going to think that anyway, no matter what she says or not. They're going to think the worst anyway.
Now today, Merrick Garland, who was the most corrupt man to ever be the Attorney General of the United States, testifying in front of Congress in these hearings, and I watched a little bit of it, and of course, when it's the Republicans' turn, they ask him some real tough questions. And when the Democrats, when it's their turn, they first thank him for his life of dedication to public service, and thank you for the goodness that you bring us, and how can we help you commit with more good. It was disgusting. But Merrick Garland, who has done things in this, he has turned America into a police state, and he's behind these arrests of President Trump. He's even behind the mugshot, even though that's a local thing. He's all behind that. He's behind all these J6ers that had their constitutional rights violated by their treatment. He's behind sending Homeland Security to these school board meetings in Virginia and investigating parents and classifying them domestic terrorists because they're concerned that they're letting boys use the girls' room at the kids' school and all this stuff. And he came out today, and boy, did he pull a stunt like I've never seen someone pull. He's a bad guy. He knows he's a bad guy, but he's angry beyond imagination. Obama nominated him to the Supreme Court, and it was the last year of Obama's second term. The Republicans wouldn't have hearings on. Republicans controlled the Senate. They wouldn't have confirmation hearings because
so he's out for revenge.
So that's a lifetime appointment.
And a lot of those guys are still there.
Yeah. So he is just pissed off that he didn't get this cushy Supreme Court job. Yes. That's a lifetime appointment where you have to do nothing. The clerks do all the work. And he's just a nasty person. And what he pulled today, which I'll tell you about in a moment, he opened up pulling an act today that to me confirms that he knows that what he's doing against President Trump, the J6ers, the school board parents, and everything else he's done, he knows what he's done is wrong. He knows it's evil. He knows it's criminal. And he's really worried about it, okay, and what could happen to him in the future when the Democrats are not in power. And this is what he did. He came out and told a story which he broke down in tears.
Oh, yes.
That his family escaped the Holocaust. Now, I will tell you that there are a handful of people that deserve special treatment in our society, okay? And prisoners of war, except John McCain, because that was a whole nother situation, okay?
He got captured.
No. They all get captured.
I'm just kidding.
Prisoners of war, except John McCain, deserve a special status. And Holocaust survivors. Now, here in Florida, there aren't as many as there used to be because, it's been a long time now and most have died. But South Florida, where Kathy and I live and have grown up, all our lives, there's Holocaust survivors. You would see them all the time. You'd go to the store, and it was not uncommon to see Holocaust survivors with the numbers on their wrists, just shopping in stores.
In high school,
all
middle
over the place.
School, growing up, I saw them every time I went to the grocery store. I'd see somebody with the numbers on their arm. It was chilling.
It's not that way anymore, sadly, because they've died of old age. So Holocaust survivors are put, to me, on a special pedestal where they get special treatment. And like there was one instance I had once. I've had this happen more than once, but there was one in particular that I remember very well. A liberal woman calls me up on the air, give me a hard time on the show. I'm going back and forth with her, and you know how I am with callers, you guys. And then she drops that she's a Holocaust survivor. And I asked her
What is she, 100?
This was a few years ago, and she was very old. And I did ask her a couple questions, and she was telling the truth. She was a Holocaust survivor. So I said, listen, you're a Holocaust survivor. You deserve a certain level of respect because of that experience. She threw it out there as an SOS because she was getting creamed in the debate, okay? I said, I know you tossed that out there because you're up against the wall with this.
I'm sure she does that quite often. But probably at family dinners and everywhere she goes.
Yeah, she couldn't handle the debate, so she threw that out. And I told her that. I said, I know you did this because you're losing this debate and you did it as an SOS, but you're a Holocaust survivor, and I'm going to put you on a different level than I would some other liberal jerk that called.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And I'm not going to challenge you or give you a hard time, giving you grief, because out of respect. And that's how I believe Holocaust survivors should be treated. Merrick Garland came out and told this story about his family escaping the Holocaust. Now, not him, his family. Now, and he almost broke down in tears. And then later in the hearing, when he was one of the congressmen I was not familiar with this guy. I can't remember his name. I've never seen him before. And he must be new because he was not wearing the standard Republican uniform of red tie and blue suit. He was wearing like a tweed looking kind of, I don't know, it was a strange suit for a congressman to wear. But in this new age when Fetterman wears like he's going to play basketball down at the end of the street, who cares what people wear? But anyway, this congressman, Republicans, started really giving him grief about his harassment of Christian pro-life activists. And then he broke down in these fake tear things, like he was trying to hold back the tears. Merrick Garland, with my background, my experience, how can you challenge that I would discriminate? I have never seen anyone in the United States government and pressed in a hearing try to pass themselves off as a Holocaust survivor. He's not a Holocaust survivor. His family fled. But
maybe. I mean, has anybody?
I don't know.
Maybe it's like a third cousin.
I don't know. I don't know.
But you're right. He didn't do it. So pull that is a pretty ridiculous. Crappy thing to do.
That's like saying, my father was a Vietnam veteran. My grandfather's a World War II veteran. That's like saying for you to say that when my dad is a veteran, a combat veteran. How dare you?
It's like what Meghan McCain does.
It's so stupid. But to me, it was. He was using it as a shield to shield himself from criticism, which tells me
exactly right.
that Merrick Garland, who acts like the Gestapo, okay, he is literally rounded up political,
his behavior is exactly like what they did during the Holocaust.
The Nazis,
he's trying to absolve himself from that by using this as an excuse.
Exactly.
Like, I would never do that because that doesn't mean anything. A lot of people do things that go against what their family
in the Holocaust, the Nazis did not round up just Jews. They rounded up all kinds of people. I know you guys know this. But among the people they rounded up also were the political opposition. Okay? They rounded up political opposition. And you know what? There was a lot of it.
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing, okay? He has rounded up political opposition. He has declared political opposition as domestic terrorist, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have to go through a list. You know what Merrick Garland does. And I got to tell you this. I find him hiding behind the Holocaust not just pathetic and revealing, and a confession that he knows that what he has done is wrong. I find it inappropriate, disgusting. Where's the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League? You know, for him to use the Holocaust as a shield from the terrible things he has done, he should really be held accountable to that. I thought that was so disrespectful that he did that to those who are true Holocaust survivors. Yeah. But anyway, with all that being said, it was a bit of a wake-up call for me, because typically my belief was with Garland and the people around him, like deranged Jack Smith and others, is that they thought what they were doing was okay. Mm-hmm. I try to, when we talk about these things and see these people, I try to see what their perspective is. You want to understand your opponent so you can, better deal with them and everything. And I really thought that these lunatic liberal monsters that are running this country, Biden, Merrick Garland, deranged Jack Smith, the crew, that they thought what they were doing was right and just. Merrick Garland obviously does not, or he would not have used that Holocaust experience of his family that he didn't experience as a shield from criticism.
Well, speaking of the Holocaust, I want to bring up real quick, this Texas teacher was fired for reading an illustrated book about Anne Frank. So what they did is, and this is not uncommon, they took Anne Frank's diary and somebody made an illustrated version of it, or a children's book with picture illustrations, kind of a condensed version. So she read this out loud to the class and was fired because it was not in Texas. It was not an approved book. So of course they're calling the school Holocaust deniers and anti-Semitic and all this. Well, what you don't know, or maybe not know, the article did say it, in this particular book, and I remember this was removed from the Florida list too. This particular book, Anne Frank mentions, or her character or her person fantasizes about liking a girl, which was not written about in any of Anne Frank's diaries. No. I read that book 3 times. She had a crush on the guy that was with them and fantasized about having a life with him and what life would be like after the war and growing up and things like that. And she dreamt about that. She never did that with a girl, okay? But they've taken this book, and this is what parents are upset about. They alter history, and they also take something as sacred as Anne Frank's diary, and they interject their gay agenda. And this is the problem people have with these books. They're twisting reality, and if you don't pay attention, they're very clever, and they do it very almost subliminally in a way where it's just like a sentence or a paragraph that's mentioned. But there were 2 students in the class who's, from what I read, their father works for the school board or something, and they told them what the teacher did. Boom, that was it for her. You cannot. There are certain books when you teach that are approved and that are not approved. That is standard when you're teaching. We have the Sunshine State Standards here in Florida, and there's a curriculum you have to go by, and there are books that are approved. And if you read a book, they tell you, if you have the class read a book that's not on this list, that could be a problem. Mm-hmm. They give you a whole list of books that are approved for the kids to read. That's not I taught 20 years ago. I had the same issue, and I stuck to the list. And they're like, if you want to bring in another book, you have to get permission. So that's the way it is. And I don't know if teachers were fired for it back then, but they are being fired in some states now for reading these things. I don't know if firing her was necessary, but it is the law now. Or they could have just reprimanded her. What do you think? Do you think firing was a good way to handle it? Or could they have just talked to her and said, don't read it again?
What's going on, first off, to turn Anne Frank into a lesbian.
Pro-LGBTQ, which wasn't even a thing on her mind back then.
Now, Anne Frank obviously was a Jew, but she's the closest you can be to being a saint
If she was Catholic, she would have been sainted.
She would be sainted. She'd be given sainthood if she were Catholic. Absolutely.
If she was Catholic.
So I find it to be disrespectful, maybe even anti-Semitic, and to alter the Diary of Anne Frank.
Exactly.
However,
but they're anti-Semitic for reprimanding the teacher.
But here's the thing. Okay, what's happened when you see all these, on libs of TikTok, all these teachers and everything.
Yeah.
Every school district has approved curriculum.
Yes.
And what these teachers are doing is just putting their own books in there, their own lesson plans, their own everything. They're making up their own curriculum based on what they see. A lot of teachers talk about my kids, my students. They're not your children, okay? They're not your kids. They're your students, but you're not their parent. You're not their guardian. You're not their grandparent. And it's not for you to instill what you believe are your values onto other people's kids.
True. And teachers these days are activists. It's very different than when I was teaching. The teachers I worked with weren't like activists or trying to push any kind of I never saw that, or it was never discussed in the break room. Teachers today are a different breed. They are like actively trying to manipulate children to push this gay agenda onto them. And I think that's probably why because she knew what she was doing. This teacher did not make a mistake. She knew exactly what she was doing when she read that book.
Absolutely. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Are you a business owner, large or small, looking for top-notch cybersecurity solutions that truly protect your valuable data? Look no further than Stealth ISS Group. Stealth ISS Group is here to secure your digital world. They're a female-owned, service-disabled, veteran-owned small business and have over 20 years of experience. From hospitality to healthcare, they've got you covered in all industries. Their cybersecurity audits and consulting services are tailored to your specific needs, ensuring data privacy, risk management, and 24/7 security operations. They focus on people, process, and technology, delivering custom yet affordable solutions. At Stealth ISS, they bring innovation, customization, and affordability to your cybersecurity strategy. Protect your valuable data by aligning cybersecurity with your business strategy and operations. Services include cybersecurity consulting and IT strategy alignment. Stay ahead of the game with their forward-thinking approach to cybersecurity. Secure your business today with Stealth ISS Group online at stealth-iss.com. That's stealth-iss.com. Get sharp, get serious, get safe. Visit stealth-iss.com. Have you stumbled upon old VHS tapes that are filled with heartwarming family memories? Where can you find a VCR to watch them? And if you did, how would you hook it up to a modern television? Don't let those memories gather dust. Introducing Our Memories in Motion, your one-stop solution for transforming those precious tapes into lasting digital treasures. They bring memories to life and make them last forever. With a commitment to excellence and unparalleled customer service, Our Memories in Motion make the transition smooth and effortless. Your cherished moments are safe with them. Are you ready to relive those good times? Visit MemorableDVD.com and get started right now. Our Memories in Motion, where past meets present. MemorableDVD.com. Coffee lovers, have you been on a quest for the ultimate coffee experience? Imagining that perfect cup? Your search is over, thanks to Bean Crazy Coffee. With Bean Crazy Coffee, every sip will feel like a crafted journey. Bean Crazy Coffee have a wide range of handcrafted flavors. You'll journey through organic, low-acid brews and indulge in the heavenly Gordon's Caramel Roll, a tribute steeped in sentiment, dedicated to the owner of Bean Crazy Coffee's father. What sets them apart is that Bean Crazy Coffee isn't just a brand, it's an experience. As a boutique roastery, they pride themselves on their artisanal small batch magic, the art of slow roasting. The process takes the organic bean and turns it into the silkiest, least acidic, most tantalizing coffee you've ever tasted. And for you decaf lovers, their decaf is full of flavor and it's all natural. Are you ready for a brew that's been passionately crafted for true coffee connoisseurs? This is the coffee you've always dreamed of. Visit BeanCrazy.com and elevate your coffee moments. Order your cup of perfection today. BeanCrazy.com. Are you tired of the constant cycle of ineffective and trendy diets? You're not alone, but there is a better way with the book, 4 Secrets to Healthy Weight Loss, from authors Dr. Cody Goldman and Donna Parker, MFT, available on Amazon. Dr. Goldman is a visionary in natural healing and founded a healthcare center dedicated to helping individuals just like you break free from the grasp of fad diets and unsustainable weight loss programs. With over 2 decades of experience, he knows the pitfalls that many face on their journey to a healthier life. 4 Secrets to Healthy Weight Loss is your guide to dispelling myths and gaining invaluable insights to make informed decisions about your health and your weight loss goals. Inside, you'll find scientific knowledge and guidance essential to your success. Forget about resorting to medications, injections, or surgeries. Instead, embrace a holistic and lasting approach to weight loss. You don't have to go through this journey alone. With this book, you'll find your advocate, your motivator, and your unwavering support every step of the way. And it's written in a way that's easy to understand so you can apply the concepts to your daily life effortlessly. It's time to embark on a weight loss journey that genuinely works. One rooted in wisdom and sustainability. Order your copy of 4 Secrets to Healthy Weight Loss from authors Dr. Cody Goldman and Donna Parker, MFT, in Kindle and paperback on Amazon.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, a few things I want to touch on. I want to just briefly touch on the Lauren Boebert thing, okay? Because now that we're a few days out, this is becoming more and more discussed, and we're seeing things a little more detailed. In fact, there's one person I saw on Twitter today, a reporter, and I will be following this, who says that they have been doing some investigating and have proof that Lauren Boebert was set up, and they will be releasing this information soon from their investigation. So I'll be monitoring that, and when that comes out, I'll share with you guys. But
I think it proves that these MAGA people are being followed.
Well, here's what I think.
And recorded everywhere they go and set up. I agree with you on that.
Here's what I think happened with Lauren Boebert. This guy she was with was a Democrat. And when we first talked about this over the weekend, it was very bizarre and strange and all. She seems to like she was drunk. But I don't know if she was or not. But her behavior seemed a little bizarre even for her. And this guy being a Democrat seemed odd. And then you look at how she's in a theater with a couple thousand people in the dark, and they have a night vision camera zoomed in on her.
Yeah, strange.
And this is the first publicly known example of an American elected official who's a female being the victim of a honeypot. Okay, the honeypots are like when Swalwell.
This is what they do with Project Veritas.
Well, no, this is what they have.
They record people and set them up to make confessions.
No, well, that was a little different. With Project Veritas is a little different. With the honeypot is like Swalwell, okay? The CCP, they get a good-looking woman, seduce them, have sex, then they got them, okay? Right. That's what that is. And political opposition and foreign hostile people like CCP or back in the Soviet Union days, they seduce members of Congress and other government officials. They use sex, they use attraction, and they compromise them, set them up, do something. You don't see this happen with women. I've never seen this, in fact, happen with a woman that I know of that's an elected official. And I believe Lauren Boebert was set up with a very, very well-orchestrated plot. And I hope that more of this comes out. You know, the camera being zoomed in on her with the night vision and everything. Now, again, I'm not excusing the way she carried herself. I mean, you know, you're a member of Congress. She's a grandmother. You know, you got to show a little more dignity and restraint in public than she did. So I'm not defending the way she behaved, even though I do think she was drunk. And when people are drunk, things can happen. But I'm not making excuses for her. But I still believe that she was set up.
Here's what I think happened. I agree with you. I think
she's newly single.
I think she was set up, but her behavior was not good, and she needs to do better. She represents MAGA. She represents her constituents, and she should not be grabbing guys' crotches or let them rub on her in public. I don't care if it's dark or not. I think it's tacky. But with that being said, I think what happened is this guy was a Democrat, right? So he's like he's working for the Democrats. I think somebody set them up somehow. She went on a date with him. And I think this guy was going to date her and try to get dirt on her, get some intel, get something, maybe on Trump, something. But he played his hand too fast. And they got this recording of them in the theater and they went with it and released it before he could take things any further and get any information. And they probably shouldn't have done that, but it was too good to pass up. So they're like, oh man, this is good. We got to release this now. Imagine if that video had never been released. They could have started dating and had intercourse and had intimate conversations that went on for months and months, and she never would have known. And she could have told him things about Trump or things she's heard. I'm sure that has happened, like you said, where people are having a lot of people in politics have affairs.
They did it to Madison Cawthorn, Kathy.
Yeah,
remember?
And they set these people up, and I think they just tipped their hand too fast.
Yeah.
Because the video they thought was so good, they couldn't resist. They had to go with it. But if they would have waited and held on to that, who knows what would have happened. But anyway, she's lucky in a way that this got revealed right away. I hope she's more careful from now on. I will say this, her husband, her estranged husband, they're separated. He did come out and say their divorce was entirely his fault, that he did a lot of bad things, made a lot of bad decisions, and that she is taking the brunt of the heat, which is not fair to her, that it's entirely his fault they got separated. And I think that shows a lot of class that he came out and defended her and said that.
And I haven't heard yet.
Because he didn't have to do that.
I haven't heard yet how they met. That I haven't heard her say that.
High school.
No. I'm talking about the guy she was on a date with.
Right, exactly.
And the reason she's vulnerable to such a thing is because she got married when she was like a teenager. She never really went out and had a youthful dating time or party time. So now that she's a swinging single, she got a little crazy and boom. But I do think that this was a Democrat operation to get information on Marjorie Taylor Greene, Gates, somebody.
They're not going to get anything out of her now.
She was most definitely set up. Now, I want to play this clip. This is Zelensky talking to the UN. He comes, of course, to the UN to demand money. Listen to this. This is Zelensky. A couple of things.
Children, unfortunately, various terrorist groups abduct children to put pressure on their families and societies. But never before the mass kidnapping and deportation would become a part of the government policy. Not until now. We know the names of tens of thousands of children and have evidence on hundreds of thousands of others kidnapped by Russia in the occupied territories of Ukraine and later deported.
Okay, a couple things about this. First off, he's been practicing his English, Zelensky. His English is getting much better. Yeah. Okay, he still sounds like
he's probably taking lessons from Sean Penn.
Yeah, he still sounds like Count Dracula, but he's
he does.
He's learning English a little bit better because it's easier for him to come over here and demand money from us in English, I guess, than
he's
it is
got a lot of nerve.
A translator. But a couple of other things here. One, he's talking about children being kidnapped and trafficked. Well, first off, I don't believe that.
That's what's going on here.
No, that's what I was going to say, Kathy. That was the end of my sentence. Joe Biden is we know for a fact is allowing the trafficking of children in the United States across the southern border. So I don't know what's going on in Ukraine. I don't believe anything Zelensky says, but I know Joe Biden is doing it. But if the position of Joe Biden and Zelensky is that child trafficking across borders is a crime, which I believe it is, then isn't Biden a criminal, for doing this on our southern border?
One would think.
Another thing about it is I know I've heard from some people that are like, enough of this, but I keep talking about Pavlo and Ukraine on YouTube, and I know Kathy's rolling her eyes now. Last week Zelensky said that the situation was so serious in Ukraine that they're taking people out of hospitals and retirement homes and giving them rifles to fight, right? Remember this? We were talking about this last week.
I don't believe a word this guy says.
And now the children are being kidnapped. Yeah. Listen, if the children are being kidnapped from their Ukrainian parents, what we would see are the parents of these children on television in Ukraine in tears crying about their kidnapped children, okay? And we're not seeing that. Now, the thing about Pavlo in Ukraine, I keep telling people to watch Pavlo in Ukraine on YouTube. He's a 20-something-year-old guy. He's a YouTuber. He has been for many years. I found him when the war started, and I was on YouTube looking for stuff in Ukraine.
Are there any other YouTubers from Ukraine that are like him?
Not like him. Pavlo in Ukraine is of military age. He and his girlfriend, all they do is go to the beach, ride their bicycles around Ukraine with their puppy.
Yeah.
They do home renovations. They're flipping a house in Ukraine. It's like, it's like normal. You don't see any war. You don't see any fear.
No, when he goes on vacation, you see hundreds of other people having fun.
Yeah, with their children at the beach in Ukraine. Yeah, I've seen him go to multiple beach resorts since this war started. And the reason I keep telling people to go to Pavlo from Ukraine on YouTube is it is the best source of unfiltered information out of Ukraine as to what's really going on there. If Zelensky knew about Pavlo, he would shut him down, because I've been watching. How long has this war been going on? However long it's been going on, I've been watching Pavlo in Ukraine. Every time he puts up a new video, I let me tell you, Pavlo in Ukraine is the only YouTube channel that I have the notifications set for. Okay, and when he gets a video, I get a notification. I was like, okay, I'll see something with. Yeah, the other day he was painting the front door on his house with his girlfriend, right? And it's nonsense. You get to see what's really going on inside of Ukraine.
I don't
Pavlo.
really watch the news anymore, but do they show on the news now? We've all seen Wag the Dog, so you can't really believe anything you see anymore. But do they show people in the Ukraine? Do they talk to these people? Do they interview people? Are you seeing these things happening en masse?
I'm not. No.
I don't think it's too unreasonable to find out where our money is going. I mean, he's got a lot of nerve coming over here every month begging and demanding, not even begging, he's demanding now.
Yeah.
More money. This is absurd. I thought when we won the Congress, this crap was going to stop.
Yeah.
Well, why isn't it? Why do they keep giving this jerk money?
Well,
because he comes over and demands it. I don't believe a word this guy's saying.
Byron Donald said yesterday that the House is not going to approve any more money for Ukraine.
Well, they better not, because that's why we voted for these
and
people
Marjorie
to stop
Taylor,
this nonsense.
Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz want an audit of the Ukraine money.
They need to do it. This needs to stop. This is a total grift. I think what's happening is he knows that Biden is not going to win again, and he knows the grift is ending in about a year and a half.
So he's got to push through as much as he can.
He's got to really push it to the limit here. And who knows who's involved and how many people are getting their piece of the pie. But, I am so sick of Democrats just taxing and spending. All they know how to do is tax and spend. And that's true. People always say that about Democrats. And that's really true. All they know, we have homes in our, a year ago, homes in our neighborhood were selling like crazy for good money. We could have sold our house for more than double what we paid for it if we wanted to. We were thinking we almost moved. Now, there's like 4 or 5 homes in our neighborhood that have been for sale for 6 months. They're not moving because the interest rate is so damn high. It's like 8% now. The housing market has completely stalled. Nobody's buying cars because they can't afford them. I mean, I don't understand what this government is doing and how they can go on TV and they just flat out lie to you. They lie about the border. I mean, today they were talking with Merrick Garland and like, oh yeah, they're got the border under control. They had like 7,000 people come through the other day. They just flat out lie to the American public. I really hope people, when they vote next year, can really not be so stuck in their ways, if they're Democrat, I'm saying, and vote outside of their party. Because a lot of these people are Democrats for life, and they could be living in the worst city in the world with rampant crime that's run by a Democrat, and they will still vote for that person again. It's like a sickness with these
Now,
people.
I want to tell you guys about the free retirement planning book that Joe Thomas is offering to listeners of the program. Joe Thomas is a new sponsor of ours on the radio. I saw Joe after I got off the radio this morning.
A lot of people are getting this book, he told me.
Yeah, the book is free, and there will be a link in the description of this episode on whatever platform you're listening to us on to the book, and it's called The Retirement Know-It-All. If you are already retired or you plan on retiring in the future, or you're even if you are like a year away or 6 months away from retirement, it's not too late. No matter what point you are in your work journey, it may be retirement is many, many years away. Maybe it's 6 months away. Maybe you already are retired. get this book, and it's completely free. Again, there's a link to the free book in the description of this episode on whatever platform you're listening to us on. But you can go to jupiterjoe.com. Go to jupiterjoe.com and click on the book link at jupiterjoe.com, and you can send for the book too. All right. And remember, when you do all these things, when you support our sponsors, you're supporting the show, and that means a lot. jupiterjoe.com. Get your free book on retirement planning. Okay, so Don Jr., his Twitter account was hacked today. Let me read through this story. This was very strange. Donald Trump Jr.'s Twitter account was hacked Wednesday morning and flooded with a series of outlandish and confusing posts. The first in the series of hacked posts on X. I still call it Twitter, guys.
Yeah, me too. I think everybody does.
The first post reads, "I'm sad to announce my father, Donald Trump, has passed away. I will be running for president in 2024. And at first, people were thrown off because Don Jr. is always telling jokes and saying funny things on his social media. So I think people are like, what? Another post claims that North Korea is about to get smoked. Very, very strange. Several others included foul language, including the N-word.
Oh my gosh.
Longtime spokesperson for Don Jr. Noted in his own tweet that the posts were a result of a hack.
Yeah,
less than a half hour after the post started, it appeared the hacker was booted and Trump Jr. regained control of his account by deleting the post. There was also the F word, some talk about Jeffrey Epstein. His brother.
They just hit on everything.
Yeah.
In the time that they had.
They knew they didn't have much time.
Yeah. They got all.
But you know what, though?
Covered.
Probably what happened is Don Jr. probably just called Elon Musk on his cell phone and said, "Hey, Elon, someone hacked into my Twitter," and Elon took care. If this were the old Twitter people, they would have let this hacker keep Don Jr.'s Twitter account for months. It wouldn't have ended in half an hour.
I think Don Jr. should run for president after his father.
Yeah. Eric Trump joked in his own Twitter post, "I don't want Don Jr. to get his account back. It's all too entertaining."
It is entertaining. It was funny.
And then Eric said, "What was Don Jr.'s password? Don 2024?"
Do you think Eric calls him Don Jr.? Do they call him Junior, Don? They call Don, obviously they call their dad, but does he call him Don Jr. personally or Junior? Or I wonder.
I don't know. Maybe he calls him Donnie.
My brother's a junior, but nobody ever. My brother's the third, Thomas the third, because my dad was Thomas and his great grandfather was Thomas, the same name, Joseph.
I've heard President Trump call him Don,
but nobody's ever called my brother Junior.
Yeah, so I've not heard Don Jr. But, Don Jr. and Eric are pretty fun. It's amazing how down to earth his kids are. I remember.
Yeah, they're very funny.
On The Apprentice
Unlike Hunter Biden.
Yeah. I remember on The Apprentice once, the teams had this job that President Trump gave them. He had a new building, and each team had to decorate a condominium to show it to prospective buyers.
I remember
like
that.
a model, like a model home kind of thing.
I missed that show.
And Eric, and I think it was Ivanka. It might have been Don Jr. I think Don Jr. and Eric were each assigned as the mentors to the opposing teams on The Apprentice. And I remember this one team did a really bad job, and Eric came in to inspect it before the competition was over. And he said, "If I decorated this condo like this, my dad would fire me, and I'm his son. You better fix this."
I guess they didn't have enough gold.
Then I heard Don Jr. once during the first campaign. He said his phone rang. It was 7:00 on a Saturday morning, and it was his dad. He says, "Why aren't you at work?"
Yep,
7 a.m. on Saturday.
That's hilarious.
But they're so normal.
Yeah, they are.
And if the last time I saw Don Jr. I've seen them in person many times, but there was one time. This one really caught me off guard. I was down the street from Mar-a-Lago, and I was on my mini MAGA scooter. The mini MAGA scooter I have, the one that rides like on sidewalks. Some of you may have seen that on my YouTube videos. I have 3 MAGA scooters, right? I got the MAGA scooter 2.0, which is the Vespa. And then the mini MAGA scooter, which is like a scooter that, like a commuter scooter you can ride like on sidewalks, And it sounds kind of ridiculous, but, they're fun. But I'm going down the sidewalk, down the street from Mar-a-Lago, and I'm crossing the street. And who's sitting at the red light? Eric Trump. He's sitting in his SUV all by himself, just waiting for the light to turn. I was like, holy crap, And If you see
He's very normal, down to earth
very
guy.
normal. He was by himself. I was like, oh
they
my
all
goodness.
seem pretty cool.
And the last time I saw Don Jr. Was at Turning Point, and he was walking to his car in the parking garage. If you see my vlog at Turning Point USA in Palm Beach, you'll see a bit of this. And Don Jr. was walking to his car just by himself, drove himself there. He was all by himself. No one with him. Of course, it didn't.
No, they're not pretentious. They're
not at all.
No, very normal, down to earth, regular people.
Exactly. They're
which is nice. Hunter would be going to his car with a whole entourage of about 20 people.
You wouldn't get near. And people, of course, recognized Don Jr. and they went up to. He took selfies with everyone, talked to everyone.
He's very sharp dressed,
And even if their dad wasn't president, they're all billionaires.
Yep.
They're worldwide famous, as is their father. Their father was one of the most famous men in the world before he was president and was a billionaire. And for them to be so down to earth.
Do you remember what kind of car?
I
Eric?
do. I'm not going to say.
Okay.
Eric and Don. Yes. I'm not going to say, but yeah.
Were they like
normal
Rolls
cars?
Royces, just
no.
Normal SUV type, right?
Normal SUVs.
But not like a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari or
it wasn't even like an Escalade.
Wow.
It was like it was a car that we could buy.
Wow.
Both of them.
That's great. I'm sure that's not their normal vehicle, but maybe
no, they are.
In
fact,
so?
Yeah, and I knew it was Don Jr.'s normal car because he makes Instagram.
I'm sure they have a few.
He makes Instagram videos all the time, like from his house and inside of his car, and it was the same car.
Well, he has a lot of kids, so he needs a big car, but I'm sure he has a fun car for those date nights with Kim.
He's got room for the fishing poles and stuff because he's always off fishing.
Yeah,
it was very right. And Eric too. I was surprised they were not Rolls Royces or anything like. They weren't Porsche Cayennes.
Now Trump would drive a fancier car for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he would have a Rolls Royce or Porsche Cayenne
Bentley
SUV
or something. Yeah.
Bentley SUV.
Yeah,
but it's amazing how normal. Now I don't know about Ivanka. Okay, Ivanka. I've not been Ivanka, Tiffany, or Barron. Okay, but Don Jr. and Eric, it is amazing to me how normal they are.
Trump said the other day, Barron is 6'8".
Yeah,
he is massive,
and he looks just like his dad from the 80s.
Exactly like his father. He I thought he'd look more like his mother.
And he likes to wear suits, it seems.
Yeah. Well, Melania said he's been wearing suits since he was 3 years old. He always liked to dress up like his dad.
Remember?
But he looks just like Donald Trump.
When The Apprentice was new, in the first couple seasons of The Apprentice, President Trump would take off in his helicopter from a helipad in New York, and Melania and Barron were there. He kissed them goodbye, and Barron was like 3 years old. Remember?
Yeah, he probably had a little briefcase too.
Yeah,
he went around with his little tie and Trump tie.
But you know, this thing about Don Jr.'s Twitter, it ended in half an hour. And as I was saying a few minutes ago, if the old guard of Twitter still owned it, he would not have gotten his Twitter back that quickly. They would have allowed this liberal jerk to have Don Jr.'s Twitter account, throwing the N-word and all this other stuff up there as long as they possibly could. But you know what I'm curious about is, isn't this a criminal offense? Why shouldn't this person be arrested?
It's probably somebody in Malaysia or something, or somebody in, it might not even be in the U.S.
You know, I read,
a lot of these hackers are in other countries.
Not this one. I read
Indonesia, things like that.
No, I read the tweets, okay? And some of them were using slang. Like when they used the N-word, it was done in a slang way. The spelling was perfect.
Oh, well, then it's got to be an American.
The punctuation was perfect.
Yeah. Because usually you can tell if it's a foreigner.
Their
grammar's off.
They even capitalized the N in the N-word, even though it was not at the beginning of a sentence, you know? And whoever hacked into Don Jr.'s Twitter knows their grammar, knows how to spell, and knows their punctuation. It was, if it's like a foreigner, the word usage would be weird.
Yeah, you can tell.
So it was some Democrat here, and but probably no consequences because he's done. He deserves it. They think the liberals.
Right, exactly.
All right, listen, we'll be right back.
Prepare to be swept away by the new romance novel from author Antoinette DeMarco, His White-Haired Goddess, available on Amazon. The White-Haired Goddess revolves around Petra, a Finnish exchange student, and the mysterious circumstances that enter her life. After a life-threatening accident, her destiny takes an unexpected turn. She needs a skilled surgeon, and fate leads her to the very person who saves her life, a doctor mesmerized by her striking white hair. As haunting green orchards appear as calling cards from a relentless star, stalker, Petra, is torn between the solace of her surgeon's embrace and her feelings for her first love back home. Beneath her radiant exterior lies a web of secrets, with the identity of her stalker shrouded in mystery. Will she discover the truth before it's too late? And who will ultimately capture her heart? Find out when you read His White-Haired Goddess from author Antoinette DeMarco, available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Let this love story leave an indelible mark on your heart. This is a romance you will not forget. Order your copy right now on Amazon. His White-Haired Goddess from author Antoinette DeMarco. In today's complex world of finance, securing and growing your wealth hinges on one powerful strategy: diversifying your financial assets. From author Oscar Hernandez comes the book Money Diversification, available on Amazon. In this must-read book, the author demystifies money diversification, revealing its crucial role in building a robust investment portfolio, and covers a wide range of asset classes from stocks and bonds to retirement accounts and alternative investments. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned investor, Money Diversification will provide you with valuable insights into asset allocation principles as well as strategies. You'll learn how to manage risk and optimize returns while exploring the pros and cons of various investment avenues. You'll discover how to construct a diversified portfolio tailored to your unique objectives and risk tolerance levels. Order your copy of this invaluable resource today, Money Diversification, from author Oscar Hernandez, on Amazon, and start your journey to financial empowerment and success. Are you ready for a spooktacular Halloween treat that your kids will absolutely adore? From author Billy Richardson comes the book The Witch's Broom Lost Its Vroom, available on Amazon. In The Witch's Broom Lost Its Vroom, it's Halloween night, and the witch is all set for a magical flight on her trusty broom. But there's just one problem. Her broom has lost its vroom. With vivid full-color illustrations, delightful rhymes, and an essential lesson about caring for others, this book is perfect for children of all ages. Whether you're starting a new Halloween tradition or looking for a captivating story to read during those cozy trick-or-treat evenings, The Witch's Broom Lost Its Vroom is a must-have addition to your Halloween reading collection. And teachers, don't miss the chance to share this heartwarming tale with your classroom during Halloween parties. Perfect for grandparents, aunts, and uncles too, and all those special little goblins in your life. This book makes the perfect Halloween gift, so why wait? Order your copy right now. The Witch's Broom Lost Its Vroom from author Billy Richardson on Amazon. Treat your little ones to a Halloween story they'll treasure for years to come. Visit Amazon and search The Witch's Broom Lost Its Vroom. Don't miss out on the Halloween fun. Get your copy today and share the magic of Halloween with your loved ones. The Witch's Broom Lost Its Vroom from author Billy Richardson. Introducing the 7-book Return to Faith series by Otis Farmer. Book 1, Return to Faith, Ground Zero. Reverend Cal Baxter takes a casual drive on a warm spring day. In the back seat are his loving wife Annie and precious infant daughter Taylor. An innocent glance in the rearview mirror destroys Cal's life and dreams forever. His wife and daughter die instantly in a horrendous crash. Cal is rocked to his core. He blames himself and God for the tragic outcome. His faith is shattered. He no longer believes in such a cold, uncaring God. He resigns from his church and walks away from the ministry until God sends Cal on a mission he never wanted to embark. What deep truths will Cal learn about himself and God? Along the way, Cal meets Betsy, owner of the Faith Family Diner in the small town of Faith, North Carolina. This was not an accident. God encourages the reluctant former pastor to reach out to Tommy, the troubled young man who had robbed Cal, whacked him on the head, and left him for dead on a country road. The judge orders Tommy to either stay in jail until the trial or help Cal build another antique truck to replace the one he stole and wrecked. Will Cal be able to turn Tommy's life around? Oh, the places we will go and the incredible wonders we will behold as we follow Cal Baxter's amazing odyssey of discovery. Available on Amazon, and it can also be ordered on otisfarmer.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, got some updates on a story I talked about this morning. You know, there's an American journalist that is being held in prison or in jail in Ukraine, an American journalist being held in Ukraine, in jail, being prosecuted for reporting the news as they see it, and they're facing 8 years in prison, this American citizen. There's some updates on this. Now, you've heard about this American transgender spokesperson, okay? Over there's an American spokesperson for the Ukrainian military who's transgender. You may have seen biological man. This is in Breitbart. The Ukrainian military has announced that it has suspended the controversial transgender spokesperson for Sarah Ashton Cirilio for allegedly making unapproved statements on social media. However, there have been no updates on the fate of an American citizen journalist that's imprisoned in Ukraine. So this American journalist, he was trying to get out of Ukraine because he knew they were going to arrest him. And listen, he's not on Ukraine's side in the war. He is, from what I've heard, is pro-Russian. And I mean that, like, I'm opposed to the war. I'm like Trump. I'm not on either side. I'm just in for the war to end. But this guy, this American journalist, was reporting things that were blaming Ukraine for Russia's invasion, saying that Ukraine caused the invasion and all this stuff. But he's an American journalist. We have freedom of the press.
Right.
You know?
I guess they don't have that there, though.
No. And it turns out now that this American transgender military spokesperson had a role in this American journalist being put in jail and has met with. So here we're giving Zelensky unlimited amounts of cash to fight for democracy and maintain democracy in Ukraine, while an American journalist is facing 8 years in prison. He made a message that he posted online, a video. I played it on my live stream this morning, which is the video before this one on my YouTube channel. If you're listening on YouTube, you can look at my live stream before this video, and you'll see I did an extensive coverage on this today. He was on the border of Hungary, and he was trying to cross the border into Hungary and get out of Ukraine because he knew they were coming after him.
Oh, boy.
The Ukrainians wouldn't allow him to leave. They've arrested him, and they're prosecuting him. And they're prosecuting him for reporting Russian propaganda. You know, I understand that we don't have American constitutional protections in other countries.
You don't.
However, a few things about this are very important. Number one, I have never heard of an American ally, which Ukraine technically is an ally of ours, arresting one of our journalists anywhere, ever before, okay? This is the first time I've heard of this. I'm not saying American journalists have not been detained. I'm talking about an ally of ours. And Ukraine is more than an ally. They're basically a client state. We're paying for everything, not just their war. We're paying the salaries of all the government workers. We're funding the entire country. We're paying for their roads, their water, their electrical infrastructure, everything. We're paying for all of their government costs, including their version of Social Security that they have for the elderly. We're paying for their healthcare system over there. We're paying for the whole country. Okay,
crazy.
It's a client state of the United States in every way, shape, or form. Zelensky's over here asking for more money.
Demanding.
Well, yeah, he's not asking. He's demanding.
Yeah, he's telling.
And Biden just gave $6 billion to Iran to get these spies, these American spies back from Iran. He should demand, Biden, that they release this American journalist. And I'm sorry that he is not on Ukraine's side.
He just gave $6 billion to Iran to get some Americans back, but he's gonna give them money and let them keep this guy.
24, yeah, exactly. 24 billion that Zelensky won. This is outrageous. What's going on?
I'm so sick of this.
And what's more outrageous than Biden and Zelensky with this American journalist is I haven't seen the mainstream corporate media report on this once. Now, I'm not watching Fox News anymore, but I think if Fox News and the other mainstream media were reporting that one of their fellow journalists was imprisoned in Ukraine by the Ukrainian government, I think if they reported, I would hear about it. If Russia had imprisoned an American journalist, believe me, that's all you would be hearing about. And so I don't understand the media here, other than, of course, their state-controlled media.
Yeah. Well, they are. I mean, they're doing whatever the White House directs them to do.
That's right.
I mean, remember, it just came out last week that Biden sent a memo, or Biden's office, to all the media outlets telling them how to handle this thing with Hunter getting arrested and prosecuted and giving them directions that leaked, that happens on a daily basis. They probably get 5 memos a day from these people telling them what to do. I mean, it is state-controlled media. They're not going to, they don't want to lose their job. They're not going to say anything or do anything that's going to go against that, because if they do, they'll get fired.
Well, this guy,
that's the way
Kathy,
it works.
This guy,
and that's on every national network, not just CNN.
Obviously, this guy is a citizen journalist. He doesn't work for any of the corporate media. You know, a citizen journalist can also be considered a freelance journalist. He's he's kind of like what we're doing. He's doing his own thing, which is the new wave of journalism. You know, just because you don't work for CBS or ABC News doesn't mean that you can get picked up. Furthermore, an American should be free to travel anywhere in this country with the knowledge that if they're detained, that our government will do everything they can do to get them back.
You mean in another country?
In another country, yeah. Well, yeah. If you're in Ukraine, Iran, North Korea, and you're in prison, you should get, you should be returned.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. I don't think you can assume that.
A journalist?
But he's not like affiliated with anybody. That's a problem.
That's the new thing now, though.
He doesn't have that. I'm
Tucker's
just saying,
not affiliated.
Realistically, that you think they go get him. Realistically, it's not a good idea to do that. But with that being said, I don't think Biden should give this guy any more money, especially when there is an American citizen over there for just reporting something. And he should say, you let that guy go and then we'll talk. But that's not going to happen. He probably agrees that for locking him up. The problem is when you are on your own, you don't have those protections of an organization to back you up. And nobody's going to come out and defend this guy because
I'm defending him.
Well, you're not part of the mainstream media. They're not going to come out and report it or defend him because he's not one of them.
This is actually, now that I think about it, this has happened once before. An American journalist was detained in a foreign country, and the U.S. government did nothing. And
they rarely do.
No. This they would with anyone else. So this guy, the Biden regime doesn't want this guy released, because if he's released, he'll come back to America and he'll be on all the television shows talking about how Zelensky put him in jail.
You'll never hear from him again unless Trump does something.
Because he was reporting things Zelensky didn't like. There's no freedom and there's no democracy or freedom of anything in Ukraine. The last time an American journalist was jailed was Jerome Corsi. When Obama was president, I cannot remember if this was his first or second term.
What about Dinesh D'Souza?
No, that was a little different. This was overseas. Jerome Corsi traveled to Africa to interview Barack Obama's half-brother, right? They have different mothers, same father. He went to Africa to interview Barack Obama's half-brother. He was arrested by military police with machine guns, him and his PR agent in Africa. They were put in you guys know Jerome Corsi, he's a very good guy. Jerome Corsi was put in a jail cell with Somali drug dealers. And his PR guy, who is someone I know Jerome Corsi, and his PR guy I also knew. I didn't know that they worked with each other. I know them independently from each other. When the police in Africa arrested them, they didn't search his PR agent very well. His PR agent had a satellite phone and called the United States and got word out in the United States that they were trying to kill Jerome Corsi. Jerome Corsi's talked about this. These drug dealers were very scary, these Somali drug dealers. He was in a cell with them. It was very scary. And because his PR guy was with him, had a satellite phone, got word back to the United States, it made it to the media, made it on television. It got on Fox. And so they got released. Okay. But when you're talking about the Obama administration, that's who's running the country now with Biden. It's the same people. So think about this, people. There are 2 instances that I know of where American citizen journalists, because Jerome Corsi was a citizen journalist working with conservative media, 2 instances that I know of American journalists being held in foreign countries because of their reporting. Once was with the Obama regime, now with the Biden regime, which is basically the same regime. That tells you everything you need to know about these guys. They are bad dudes. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. You know, those of you that are Patreon supporters, your support helps us a lot. It means a lot, and Kathy and I are both very grateful for your support. If you would like to become a patron of the program, there's a link in the episode description on whatever platform you're listening to. And those of you that are Patreon supporters have access to exclusive content that nobody else has access to, that Kathy and I post on our Patreon page all the time, as well as commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes. And our top Patreon supporters get a live, on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. The names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Arctic Fox, Heather, David, Richard, Melissa, and Maria in Texas. These are our top Patreon supporters. And again, if you would like to be a patron of the program, there is a link in the episode description. All right, now I got a call on the live stream this morning from someone that was asking me a question about Byron Donalds, and I wanted to talk about this. It came out yesterday that Byron Donalds is thinking of running for governor of Florida. This is Ron DeSantis' second term.
I would love that. That'd be amazing.
And governors have 2-term limits in Florida, okay? And Byron Donalds, I told you guys when I saw him and I met him at Turning Point USA, I called Kathy on the phone. I said, he's running for governor. He's going to run for governor, Byron Donalds.
No, you're right.
Of Florida and be the governor after
He'd be
Ron
perfect.
DeSantis.
He'll win too.
Yeah, and I got a call from someone today, Gary, who was Gary from Coral Springs. He was very upset. He says, what has he done? What record does he have? What has he done? Well, most people in the House of Representatives don't do much, okay? Most people in Congress don't do much. They vote yay and nay. That's what they do. They vote yay, they vote nay, or present. They don't do that much. However, we're in very different times right now, okay? These are not normal times that we are in. You know, we were talking in the first segment about Merrick Garland and what Merrick Garland has done, turned this country into a police state, weaponized the Justice Department. You know all this stuff. And as bad as things are in this country, the only thing that is going to change it is to have as many Trump-loyal MAGA patriots holding political office. That is all that is going to save this country. And Byron Donalds has so far shown a lot of loyalty to President Trump. He stood with President Trump on the 12 votes, however many votes they did for the Speaker of the House. You know, he stood with him there. He has defended him through these arrests.
I'll go beyond that. I'll go beyond Trump. And that's all true what you're saying. I like Byron Donalds because he's got balls.
Yeah.
And he takes on the deep state. He's not afraid to call them out. How many representatives have the guts to go on TV and call out these people and their corruption? He's fearless. He stands up for Floridians. And that's what I like about him. I agree with his platform. I went to his website today, which I've never done before. I agree with his play. He's pro-life. He's pro-Second Amendment, all the conservative things. But what I like about him the most is he's got guts. And he'll go on TV and he does defend Trump. He went with him to the state fair in Iowa, stood right by him. He's a MAGA guy. And he doesn't take crap from anybody. Have you seen him on talk shows? Mm-hmm. He's been on CNN. He gives it right back to them and more. He knows how to handle these people. His background was in finance. He's extremely smart and very fiscally intelligent and knows a lot about money and how things work. This is a guy who had businesses.
Unlike Tim Scott, who's not that bright.
And knows how things operate. And when you see him in action on a TV show talking to these news reporters, he wipes the floor with them. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And he was on with Joy Reid. He destroyed her. And it was a beautiful thing to see because she's a moron. I don't care if she went to Harvard. She knows nothing about business or how things run or how they operate. Her whole life's affirmative action. This is a guy who's gotten somewhere because he's worked his ass off and he's smart and he knows what the hell he's talking about. And I think him and Trump get along because they speak the same language, which is the language of business. And I think that's why they like each other. That's a big part of it. He's going to run. He'll get Trump's endorsement. It would be amazing. And I think that's a fantastic guy to run for governor. And I think he'll win for sure.
This is the thing.
So
okay.
Good for him.
This is the thing. A lot of the MAGA people, if you notice, are kind of new. Matt Gaetz has been around longer than any of them, and he's kind of new. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert,
Byron Donalds was a member of the Tea Party.
Yeah, Byron Donalds.
When it was around, too.
We don't have enough loyal Trump MAGA people in the House of Representatives, in either house of the Congress.
You know why that is? Because it's scary.
Yeah, it is.
To do that. They come after you.
Yes.
And if you can stand up to them and call them out and go on TV, you're brave, because you don't think they haven't looked into this guy. He's got 3 beautiful children. His wife's beautiful. I saw a picture of them on the beach, and he's Southwest representative, Southwest Florida. You don't think they've looked into this guy and investigated him and follow him around?
Exactly.
It's scary to be on Trump's team.
It is.
Because these people are relentless. They try to destroy your life. So just the fact alone that he's defending Trump gives him a million points in my book.
Absolutely.
Because that is not an easy thing to do these days. You're a target when you do that.
So, see, we're in a different time right now, okay? We're in a police state. We're losing our country. We have no southern border. We're getting involved in the Third World War with Russia in this Ukraine thing.
It's a mess.
There's a whole list of problems going on.
It's a mess right now.
And Donald Trump is the only person that can stop this. And for him to be successful once he wins, he needs to have as many loyal MAGA people in government around him as possible. And getting a loyal Trump MAGA person as the next governor of Florida is very important.
And he's young.
Florida,
he might run for president someday, which would be amazing.
Florida, we got a lot of problems in Florida, okay? The state government is not loyal to Trump. They're these Jeb Bush people, and we need a strong Trump person to be the next governor of Florida. It's very important. I don't know if it's going to be Byron Donalds, but I like Byron Donalds because he's loyal to Trump.
So. And so when is that election? Is that next year then?
Oh no, it's no. It's after that. It's like during the midterms.
2026.
Yeah, it's 3 years away.
Okay.
It's 3 years away. So we got a long time.
He's got time.
But, listen, we've got to anyone who is loyal to Trump, we've got to stand by them. And obviously there have been people that have betrayed Trump, like Jeff Sessions and others and DeSantis. You can't always.
I heard that caller this morning.
You can't always tell who's going to betray you until they do it.
No, he blamed Trump for that and said Trump can't pick good people. That's not Trump's fault that he trusted somebody. So you're bashing Trump because he trusted somebody that lied to his face and gave him no reason up to that point to not trust him.
Exactly.
How is that Trump's fault for being a nice guy?
Exactly.
And trusting somebody? How is that his fault? He was stabbed in the back.
That's right.
By these people. Jeff Sessions, Mike Pence, God knows who else lied about him and went and blabbed to the media about things that weren't true. How is that Trump's fault?
Exactly.
When you know what I mean? I don't understand how you blame him for bringing people in. He was new to Washington, and he took these people for what their word, which is, I think in Trump's world, your word means everything. And he's a trusting guy. Now, and I've said this before, he will go into Washington next time much more careful, less naive about things, and he probably doesn't trust anybody anymore, which is probably in his mind a sad way to be, but that's the way it is.
But it's very difficult, you're right, Kathy, to be in government and hold office and stand with Trump. Like, this thing with Lauren Boebert. If Lauren Boebert was Larry Boebert and that was a male member of Congress with a woman, okay, not a gay, they'd be done. They'd be out of Congress.
Absolutely.
Already, be out. They wouldn't have gotten through it. Groping somebody in the theater, even though they're going through a divorce.
Unless they were married. That'd be different. Then
she's still technically married.
No, but if it was with their spouse, that'd be different. Then it's no big deal because they're married.
That's different.
Yeah, that would be different.
Now,
people would say, oh, you know what I mean? That
now,
you
guys,
couldn't go after somebody for that.
I've been telling you about this all week. I don't know how long this special is going to be around. I really don't. But this is one of the best specials I've ever seen Mike Lindell offer, and it is on the My Pillow Mattress Topper 2.0. The 2.0 mattress topper is a major upgrade on the original My Pillow mattress topper because it has the body regulating technology in the material. It perfectly regulates your body temperature all year long, not just in the hot summer months, but in the cool winter months too. And it is 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. It will change the way you sleep. Kathy and I have the mattress topper. It is like sleeping on a cloud. It is just perfectly comforts your body. The temperature regulating technology, I don't understand how it works, but it works.
It is amazing.
You will sleep deeper than you've ever slept before. You think you've gotten good night's sleep before? You will be like, wow, I wish I had this mattress topper my whole life.
If you have we got our daughter one because she has a sofa bed for company. And if you have a sofa bed, especially with the holidays coming up, sofa beds are not comfortable. I don't care how much you spend on it. You have got to get one of these for your company, okay? Because, you don't want them to sleep at your house and not sleep well and wake up in pain and not feeling good. And then you got to apologize. I'm sorry, it wasn't comfortable. You want them to come to your house and sleep and wake up and be like, that was the best sleep I've had in my life. What is on that bed? It's amazing. And then you get them the MyPillow towels when they come to your house, and they have the full MyPillow experience, and they leave your house like, man, that was I slept good. They have beautiful towels because let me tell you, people notice that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Linens and things like that. You get the sheets. That is really important. If you have company coming to your house this holiday season, this Christmas, I think you should get yourself some of these things and treat your guests and let them feel like, wow, this was a wonderful visit. Because if somebody comes to your house, no matter how much they like you or love you, if they sleep in the sofa bed and they have a horrible night's sleep, that's what they're going to remember. Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, I didn't sleep. I woke up feeling horrible. My back pain was worse and everything. So you want it to be a good experience. I think it's and they last so long. It's a great investment, truly.
The MyPillow Mattress Topper 2.0 is 50% off at checkout when you use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. That's K-A-N-E at checkout, 50% off. The lowest price ever, less than we paid for ours, much less. And also it makes a great gift for Christmas. It comes in a box perfect for wrapping. We'll take a break and be right back.
Book 2 of the Return to Faith series, Return to Faith, New Growth, by Otis Farmer. Cal and Betsy's relationship grows deeper, regardless of obvious challenges they both must face. Is Betsy a valuable new addition to Cal's life, or simply a replacement for his dead wife, Annie? Betsy understands her less than ideal position, but she is determined to help Cal cope with a serious health challenge. All the while, even facing an uncertain future, Cal and Betsy realize he is evolving into the man Betsy desperately needs. It remains to be seen who she is to Cal and exactly where she fits in his life. The series theme was established in Book 1. In Book 2, God's purpose for the old, remodeled church is revealed as a safe harbor. Strangers battling deeply entrenched, devastating physical and psychological issues are drawn to the out-of-the-way, quiet town of faith. Right on God's schedule, Todd Fletcher arrives at the little church. He's on the verge of suicide. Has he arrived in time, or is he already too far gone? With the future of their delicate relationship looming over them, will Cal and Betsy grasp Tom's dire situation in time to save his tortured life? Available on Amazon and can also be ordered on otisfarmer.com. Would you like to join the calming world of meditation? Or maybe you know someone who has an interest? Then order your copy of Meditation Guide for Beginners from author Zoltan Gaz. Meditation Guide for Beginners isn't your ordinary guide. It has a humorous twist, and it's a great gag gift for those dipping their toes into mindfulness. Inhale, exhale, and chuckle along. Page after page, all you'll find are 2 words, inhale and exhale. But what's meditation without a bit of visualization? It's also filled with stunning photographs of nature. It's meditation made simple and hilarious. Give it as a gift to a loved one, or keep it as a reminder that sometimes simplicity is the key. Find yours in or share a laugh. Order your copy of Meditation Guide for Beginners from author Zoltan Gaz, available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon. Breathe in, chuckle out. Order your copy right now. Meditation Guide for Beginners on Amazon. In the heart of fashion's past lies Mary Jane Drip, an homage to the iconic Y2K, retro 90s, and alternative styles. Mary Jane Drip was born from a love for vintage flair and a desire to breathe life back into the timeless pieces of decades gone by. Mary Jane Drip is more than just a fashion brand. They're a movement, a feeling, and a throwback to the golden days of style. Every piece at Mary Jane Drip is carefully curated, ensuring it captures the essence and spirit of the era it represents. presents from the bold patterns of the 90s, the futurism of Y2K, and the eclectic vibes of retro fashion. Mary Jane Drip have everything to cater to the nostalgic heart and the contemporary soul. Visit MaryJaneDrip.com today. Retro cool, 90s rule. MaryJaneDrip.com. Book 3 of the Return to Faith series, Return to Faith, Circle of Life by Otis Farmer. Betsy and her partner Sam feed strangers a free dinner. Then, against their better judgment, they allow Jennifer and Sweetie, her toddler daughter, to slip out of the diner into the uncertain night. They fear they've done the strangers a grave injustice and they'll never see them again. Why didn't they insist on doing more? Betsy's motherly instincts leap into overdrive and may lead her into dangerous territory. But this young mother needs help. Betsy throws caution and better judgment to the wind. Exhausted and with no money for a hotel, Jennifer discovers the little chapel of faith where she and Sweetie spend the night on a pew. Early the next morning, they are discovered by Cal and his loyal pup, Mutt. The eager young pup instantly falls in love with Sweetie, but the introduction devolves into catastrophe. Cal's instincts detect serious problems surround Jennifer and her young child. He is suspicious and turns an uncharacteristic, insulting cold shoulder to the strangers. He partially redeems himself by calling Charlie, a local mechanic, and requests he bring some gas to put in Jennifer's car. The sooner they leave town, the better. Jennifer reluctantly accepts an invitation for breakfast on the house at the diner. Meanwhile, Cal calls Deputy Kerr to request a few quick searches on Jennifer's car. Are the strangers fugitives from justice or victims of circumstances beyond their control? He is aware of how taken Betsy was by Jennifer and Sweetie. He must take quick action to protect Betsy. Jennifer makes her second misguided decision when she accepts a few complimentary nights at the local B&B. She should have declined breakfast and slipped out of town immediately. Little does the young mother realize what's going on behind the scenes. The generous but naive locals have no idea the Pandora's box they are opening by digging into Jennifer's complex past. Sometimes it's best to remain in the dark than to stand in full view of a reality that should have remained a mystery. Available on Amazon and can also be ordered on OtisFarmer.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so we got an update here. Ray Epps has pled guilty to his misdemeanor charge over the January 6 riots. Epps was charged by Merrick Garland's Department of Justice for a misdemeanor count of disorderly and disruptive conduct on restricted grounds during a virtual hearing. The judge told the court that Epps said, they went through the whole thing, but
so he's not even charged for anything
a misdemeanor
at January 6th. This is for something else.
No. It's for being disruptive on January 6th.
Oh, I thought it said a virtual meeting.
Well, the court was virtual. He didn't have to actually go to the court.
I got you.
Like, he did it like on Zoom or something.
I got you.
For the life of me, this I don't understand. I don't understand this one at all. The Ray Epps thing is, Ray Epps is always going to be a conspiracy. We're never going to know the truth. I went to Ray Epps' bio on Wikipedia. Let me pull this up because this was just so strange. Okay, I looked up his Wikipedia today. They don't even know on Wikipedia when he was born. They don't have a month or a day of the month, but they also don't know what year. If you go to Ray Epps,
that's really weird
on Wikipedia, it says born 1961 or 1962. So they don't even know what year the man was born. This guy has been one of the most talked about people for the last over 2.5 years in this country. They don't know what month he was born. They don't know what year he was born. We're never going to know about Ray Epps the truth, okay? Yeah. We're never going to know. They keep saying he's a former Marine. First of all, you're never a former Marine. You're always a Marine. There's no such thing as a former Marine. You may not be active duty, but they say he's a Marine. I was Googling today before the podcast looking for photographs of him in the Marines. I didn't see any online.
Well, I find it curious how There's video of him directing people to the Capitol. We got to go. You got to go.
That's incitement of violence.
Let's go. Pointing and saying, go there. And he gets charged years later because of pressure.
On a misdemeanor charge.
With a misdemeanor. But Enrique, who wasn't even there.
22 years.
Gets 22 years in jail.
And others have gotten long stretches.
For organizing something.
So,
that makes no sense.
And what doesn't make sense to me is why did the Justice Department come in and charge him now with a misdemeanor, which
to save face, to look like they're doing something to protect him, maybe.
A lot of people, and Tucker did this too, thought that Enrique and Ray Epps are federal agents. People don't think that about Enrique now because he was sentenced to 22 years.
Yeah, obviously.
But Ray Epps getting a misdemeanor charge, that makes people even, wow, he really must be, because they don't, what I mean? They wouldn't put him in prison. They wouldn't even charge him with a felony.
Well, he probably won't go to prison. He'll probably just get probation.
On a misdemeanor? No, you don't go to prison on a misdemeanor.
No, that's what I'm saying. He'll just get like a fine or something.
Disorderly is, the way I described it, that's like Otis on the Andy Griffith Show every night.
Yeah, exactly.
Drunk and disorderly.
It's a BS charge.
I don't understand why they did it.
Because there's a lot of pressure.
They're causing more conspiracy.
Well, yeah, but they're trying to deflect and show that he's not working with them at all. Because why would he get charged if he was? But I don't know, like I said, I don't know how people can rationalize him getting charged for a misdemeanor when he was literally there that day directing people to go, telling them to do it. But Enrique, who wasn't even there that day, they're charging him and he went to jail for 22 years.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
It makes no sense at all.
I really hope Trump, when he gets into, pardons those guys right away. That's excessive.
That'll be one of the first things he does. But this thing about Ray Epps, we're never going to know the truth about Ray Epps, okay?
Maybe
no,
not. Maybe
never.
Trump will look into it, you don't think?
Tucker? When they don't even know what year he was born in any of these news stories. Wikipedia is not the most accurate of sources. However, that means that the media don't even know what year he was born in. How can a man who's Kathy, these court proceedings are supposedly public. You mean no journalist has gotten his birth date off of these legal proceedings?
They don't know where Barack Obama was born. So.
Exactly. There's too much. I have a theory that popped in my mind today about Ray Epps that I'm not sharing yet because it's something that no one else has said. And I got to think about this a little bit more. But I have a theory. I told Kathy knows what my theory is because I told Kathy. But I don't want to say it on the air yet because I want to look into it a little bit more and think about it a little bit more and talk to some other people. But I have a working theory on Ray Epps that no one has, I've heard, speculated on yet. And
I forgot what you told me. You'll have to.
I'll remind you. Yeah, that's how big of a deal it is. Kathy's already forgotten.
My memory is not so great.
I gave Kathy the exclusive, and she's already forgotten it. But I'll talk about it on a future show.
Okay.
But the fact that they don't know what year he was born for sure is so weird.
Well, I want to give a Luna update. I'm so excited. Luna's getting fixed
cat.
Finally. Next week. Her blood work came back normal. Everything's cool. The doctors okayed her, gave her the green light. She was up again all last night. It's happening every 2 weeks. I don't know if that's normal, but she was up all night, literally meowing, carousing. She slept today, but that means she'll be up all night again, meowing, making weird noises, looking for Waldo. I don't know what she's doing. It's really crazy, but the doctor swears that this will calm down once she gets clipped or snipped or whatever. And I pray to God. I just hope she's not in a lot of pain. They do give pain meds. I've never had a cat that I had to go get fixed. I've always had cats that were already fixed. I'd get them from the pound and they already spay them. I've never had a cat that I had to actually take in to do. Have you? You took Dax.
I had a cat that died at 18.
And was she in a lot of pain or was it okay?
Kathy, it's been like 30 years. I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. But yeah.
Hopefully technology's advanced and it's no big deal.
I've never had a cat in heat before.
No.
And Luna, when she gets in heat, she's not only very vocal with rah, 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 she becomes overly affectionate with us. She wants to mate with us.
I don't know about that.
She's rubbing on us.
She just has feelings she doesn't understand. And she gets very affectionate.
Feelings she doesn't understand.
Yeah. She came up this morning behind me and put her arms around my neck and was biting my hair. It was really strange. I pushed her off. I'm like, no,
okay,
no.
Now.
So I don't understand these things, but she's being extremely loving. She's a loving cat anyway. She's just a little more so during these few days.
It's uncomfortable.
Well, whatever. She can't help it. She doesn't understand.
She heard of the Me Too movement.
The doctor did say that it causes them anxiety. They don't understand their feelings, and they're calling out. She doesn't know why she's doing it. It's just instinctual. So she said you really need to get it done because it does cause them stress. So don't worry, Luna. You're getting done in a week.
Some of you may have heard me talk about this new stretch of road we have in our town. And I was just reading a comment someone left me on YouTube that I'm going to share with you, okay? But let me give you a little background on this. I made a YouTube short. It's on my YouTube channel of this today, and you can watch this. But in Boca Raton, Florida, which has one of the oldest population of drivers anywhere in the country, because Florida has the oldest population, and Boca Raton has the oldest of the oldest that are still on the road driving, okay? The average age of drivers in Boca Raton is about 88 years old.
Bad.
It's very old. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, they call it God's waiting room.
Yeah,
here.
And it's
pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. And I've talked about how they've made a change on this one road. It's called Glades Road. And when you drive over I-95, they've recently redone this the road so that it's very strange. It
crisscrosses.
You're all of a sudden you're driving on the left side of the road, and if you miss the sign, you'll be driving on the wrong side of the road if you stay on the right side of the road.
You took me on this road a couple weeks ago, and you said you got to see this. We were coming off I-95 from Miami, and you're right, and I couldn't believe it. The road's like crisscross, and you're on the left side of the road for about 100 feet.
And the reason,
and then you go back.
The reason this is a problem is, well, first off, in America, we drive on the right side of the road, and to be driving on the left side of the road ever so briefly is bizarre. But because the age of the drivers in the town is so old,
true,
I find it confusing. The first time I drove over it, I was on the MAGA scooter, my Vespa, and I was like, whoa, am I in the wrong lane? I was confused.
Yeah, for a few minutes you're thinking, what's going on?
And you've got these people that are on the road in their 80s and 90s that can hardly see over the steering wheel. So anyway, I've talked about it, and I've even taken calls on the show. People have called in, and a woman I know, we had the vitamin shop that Steve and I did a personal appearance at last year where the mall owners called the police because MAGA was there. Remember that?
Yeah.
One of the owners of that vitamin shop called me. Her daughter got into an accident there because someone, I don't know if it was her daughter or another driver, someone was confused about being on the left side. So this morning, I made a YouTube short of the road. Now, this was at about 10 minutes to 5 in the morning. Right. So there was like one other car on the road. There was no traffic. But I did it at that time because it's dark. And it is lit because you got the stoplights. You could see, I wanted people to see clearly how it works. And it's so bizarre. So I've been getting comments about it, and somebody just commented on the video, and I wanted to read this to you. This is obviously been written by
liberal?
Not a liberal, one of the engineers that designed the road.
Oh, maybe, yes.
Okay.
I'm very upset.
Because of the terminology they're using. I've never even heard these phrases and things used. So this is on my video. I titled it's a YouTube short. It's on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. I titled the video, Driving on the Left Side of the Road in Boca Raton, Florida. Okay, that's the title of the video. And this is what someone wrote. It's called a diverging diamond interchange. And see, this is like an engineer. This is not like a normal person.
Yes.
It's called a diverging diamond interchange and is actually one of the safest highway interchanges there are. Really? 98-year-old people driving on the left side of the road? Yeah, that's safe. It has 2 fewer collision points. Who uses terms like this?
I think you're right. I think this is the person
that designed it or something.
This road.
Yeah.
I mean, who else would
know this?
Get into such a lengthy explanation over this?
And it has 2 fewer collision points. And and an added 2 extra lanes of continuous flow for people entering and exiting the lanes. It's called lane mathematics. Progress is good.
Wow.
That's definitely has to be written by either the road engineer who designed it or built it.
If you live in South Florida, Palm Beach County, check this out, okay? Just get off the I-95 in Glades exit, Glades Road. It's in Boca Raton, and you'll see for yourself. It's a wackadoo. It's just from the exit when you cross the bridge over. And the crazy thing is, Brian, this is happening on a bridge.
Yeah.
It's not happening on like a regular road. You're actually on a bridge.
It's crazy.
And up in the air, so to speak. And it's when you told me about it, I didn't really understand until I saw it, and it is pretty crazy.
See, there
goes the cat again.
That's the cat in the background with her heat cries.
I have a feeling it's going to be another.
She's calling all the boys in the neighborhood to come on over.
Another rough night for us. I really did not sleep very well last night. She woke me up every hour and a half.
She's behaving like Lauren Boebert at Beetlejuice.
Yes, she is. But we're not going to get mad at Luna because she doesn't understand.
Oh, my goodness. This is going to be another fun weekend.
Well,
and week.
Hopefully this is the last because she's getting fixed next Wednesday. And hopefully this will be the last hurrah for Luna.
So anyway, this comment on YouTube that I just read about the road, that is a construction engineer, road builder, civil engineer.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That is not like a normal type of thing that you would.
They take it very personally.
It's a very bad road. I'm going to make more videos about it now.
Yeah.
I'm going to make more videos about it. And the next ones I'll do will be in the daytime when it's loaded with traffic.
You like cross over and then you cross back. I don't know why they're doing it. It's so weird.
Because everything the government does is stupid.
That is true.
The government are stupid people. They're incompetent and they do stupid things. And they got every aspect of government, the people at the top are a bunch of overeducated eggheads that don't understand the real world.
Yeah.
Right. And they have all these theories about things that just don't.
They're not good in the practical sense.
Exactly. No matter what it is.
They seem good on paper.
Exactly. Well, listen, guys, we're out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next time.